Hello. So, even though this is my first live stream, I'm going to do it just like it's a normal video because I don't necessarily count on thousands of people joining me the first time for this. And for those who are going to watch the video later, which I'm sure is most people, we don't need the 10 minutes of seeing who's on or whatever. Anyway, the age of intensity is probably something that you've noticed happening around you at least ever since COVID happened. But it started a while before that. And what it is can be partially, you can get a feel for it from the John Lennon song Instant Karma. Think of the rising frequencies, the spiritual evolution that is going on now, that is making everything so intense, is because the karmic loop, the manifestation loop, is getting tighter. So, what does that mean? Think of it as that we're going to a higher frequency, and part of what a higher frequency is about is that what you put out, you start getting back sooner and more directly. So, in a denser frequency, what would happen is you would have all the energy you put out into the world. Let's say randomly, it takes 2 months to come back at you as manifestation. Now, that's not totally accurate, and different things manifest in different ways. You know, if you act belligerent, you can get an instant manifestation at any time. And the same if you act really nice. But other things like the deep down beliefs that you have, the fears that you have, all of the energies that you have circulating in your body are part of what come back to you as manifestation later. So the point of instant karma, the point of raised frequencies means that those energies are coming back sooner. And also, they are not being diluted by other energies. So let's say in the old system, you have some good energies, some bad energies. You have some fear, you have some hope, you have a big mix. And let's say it takes 2 months for those energies to come back at you as manifestation. And it's a mixture. It's kind of like the energies that you put out 2 months ago all get kind of averaged and put together and come back as a manifestation. In this age of intensity, in this tighter loop of manifestation, what happens is that these things come back and they're not averaged with all the other things. So, for example, if I'm afraid to make a certain phone call, I might get either that person calls me and they do something that resonates with my fear, increases my fear, or I make the phone call and the fear distorts the direction that phone call was going to go in and makes it a more negative thing. So it's not getting averaged with your other things. So when you think of the manifestation loop tightening and the karmic loop tightening, what it's doing is that the universe is showing you the impact of your energies. It's like It's like the difference of looking in a mirror and seeing what you look like instantly versus if you had some mirror that you had to stand in front of it for like 2 hours to be able to make out the features in the mirror, right? In the manifestation loop, when it's quicker, you see everything in the mirror instantly. And so before, the manifestation mirror had a delay. And so you didn't know, oh, this anger is what manifested that reaction from another person, because you don't remember what little anger episode you had 2 months ago that now is coming back at you through some random person screaming at you on the street, whatever. So what happens is you start realizing my anger from right now just caused that reaction. And it's not like that never happened before. It's not like that's a completely new thing. The idea is that some of those things, like I said, 500 years ago, you punch somebody in the face, you get an instant reaction, right? It's not like, oh, the karmic loop is too slow, and so you punch them in the face and you only get your thing 2 months later. No, I mean, you'd get an instant reaction at all periods of human history, right? No matter how dense the energy was. But it's those things, those beliefs like I'm not good enough. You feel like not good enough. And then the universe starts reflecting, yeah, you're not. And then you can go into that loop. And then maybe the universe throws out some hints that, oh, maybe you are. But anyway, what happens with this is that it's like the universe, the mass awakening, the movement, as Dolores Cannon would have called it, the movement to the new earth, is causing us to see what we're manifesting more and more as we manifest it. So if we look in a mirror to see if we have something on our face, and it takes 10 minutes for the mirror to give us the image, it's not going to be possible just to walk by a mirror, make an adjustment, and keep walking, right? It's going to be a whole process. But as the loop closes and gets tighter, you see it right away. You take care of it right away. And that's what's happening now. But here's the thing. The issues that we have that most bother us were put into place a long time ago. A lot of times in childhood or adolescence, sometimes from past lives. So a lot of these issues are very unconscious or subconscious. And so that's why we have this manifestation mirror called the outside world. And we bounce our energy off of it. And as it returns, like a mirror, we see more about us and we see about what we need to change. But what happens is that the issues that we're holding on to, those issues were things that we grabbed onto to save ourselves. Like our fear and our patterns of fear, for example, a lot of times we think if we didn't have the fear, that we would be susceptible to the danger. Do you need fear to protect yourself from danger? Think about it. You might think that fear is absolutely necessary in order to be protected. Now, let's say the universe now is showing you that your fear is destructive and it's manifesting negative outcomes. It's showing you that by creating fearful scenarios that you react to with fear. And it's showing you that by creating non-fearful scenarios that you're still reacting to with fear. And what happens is it's actually intensifying your fear, or the universe is giving you inputs to intensify your fear. Now, if you think you need your fear in order to survive, then you're going to hold on to that fear. When the universe is trying to help you clear that fear by showing you what it is, what it does, and that it might be a good idea to let it go, and the wind is at your back because the universe is going to help you let it go if you release, if you let go, if you start that process yourself. Well, what happens is it's kind of like you're the little kid with the security blanket, and you're holding on to this security blanket. But this security blanket is filled with bacteria. I always come up with gross examples. Because you've been holding on to it for years and years, and you've been crying into it and slobbering on it, and, haven't allowed it to be washed because it's a sacred security blanket. And now the universe starts pulling on it. And you go into absolute panic because, oh no, my security blanket is being ripped away from me. But the fact is, the security blanket is part of the fear you're manifesting. The belief that I need to protect myself from scary stuff with a security blanket is allowing the cooperative universe to manifest scary stuff so you can hold on to your security blanket. So what happens is, as the universe shows you the implications of your fear might intensify. And as your fear intensifies, the universe is also lifting that fear from you if you allow it. But a lot of times you won't allow it. You'll just clutch onto it harder and have a big dramatic episode. Okay. And you will feel like, oh my God, the universe almost wiped me out, but I held on. All you held on to was your issue. So what we want to do now is imagine, here's an analogy. You are a pipe, like a drainage pipe, like the pipe that goes from your sink to the sewer, whatever. And the pipe is clogged. And something in you makes you think either you are the clog or you depend on that clog for your identity. So you don't realize that you are the entire drainage pipe. You feel like you're identified as the clog, or you're identified as needing the clog for your survival. And the universe comes along like a big plunger. And it starts applying pressure to that clog to move it through the system. Now, that pressure is just trying to unclog what you really, truly are and restore your true identity. But what you do, identified as the clog or needing the clog, is you double down on the clog energy and you hold on for dear life. And you feel like if this clog moves through the system, I'm dead. I will no longer exist. You have a panic as if what happens is whatever your issue is, whether it's fear, whether it's self-doubt, whether it's feeling not good enough, insecurity, whether it's rage, whether it's feelings of victimization, feeling the world is unfair, whatever feeling that you're holding on to, it's manifesting bullshit in your life to show you through the manifestation mirror that this isn't really what you want. And it is allowing you to see that and to let it go. Most people don't really have the code, so they go through a lot more crap than they need to. That's my job, is to help that be easier, to help people realize you're not the clog, you're this whole drainage pipe. Let the clog go and come into your true identity that was sitting there waiting for you the whole time. And so what do we do? Well, the good news about all of this stuff is that the universe has your back as long as you are headed in that direction of healing. Got to have that caffeine. So the universe is intensifying, back to my title, The Age of Intensity. The universe is intensifying everything. Everything in your life, everything in your existence, especially emotionally, is being intensified so that you can see what is what. It's also being intensified by the fact that the feedback loop of manifestation, the mirroring effect of manifestation, is also speeding up. And that's why a lot of people are really losing their shit, because everything's in your face and there's not necessarily a big logical explanation sitting right with this. It is chaos. And so letting go, surrendering, allowing the energies to reformulate, right? Allowing the energies to realign and staying in neutrality as that happens, not jumping into the drama, is what is going to make these things just sail right by. So the best thing that you can do, number one, let go. Surrender to the best of your ability to the feelings that are moving through you, which means don't try to stop feeling what you feel. And there are countless videos that I've done. Well, I'm sure there's a number actually. But there are a lot of videos that I've done about how to deal with emotions. And I would refer you to those. There's a whole playlist, I believe, on this YouTube channel about emotional avoidance. I believe it's called Emotional Avoidance and Its Costs. Um, so the thing is to allow the emotions to be felt. And I find the best way to move that clog through is to intensify it, right? So if you have a big eruption of insecurity, just just dedicate the next 15 minutes to feeling completely insecure with no resistance. That might sound really scary, but the fact is, the truth of your being, the truth of who you really are, is that you're not insecure. You're a soul. You're an immortal soul that is not insecure. And so when you allow the universe to sweep the insecurity out of your system, and it's probably not going to be in one fell swoop, it's going to be multiple waves. The insecurity arises, you allow it, and then it moves through. And you might have to do that hundreds of times. It becomes a lifestyle. But as you do it, as you realize whatever emotion is emerging in you has the potential to actually clear, because we are in a period of clearing. So the intensity is really only intense to the degree that you fight it. To the degree, like, it's like a river, right? The river is far more intense if you're swimming upstream, and the river is pretty mellow if you're floating downstream. I mean, as long as it's not like huge rapids and whatever, right? But if you're swimming upstream, you feel the power of that river coming in against you. You feel the futility of your swimming. You look at the banks and notice that you're still going downstream even though you're trying to swim upstream. Or if you are getting upstream, you're not getting very far. But if you float with the river, you can just lie back on your back and float down. Okay? And that's what the age of intensity can be. If you flow with it, it's not going to be that intense. I mean, you're still going to have periods, because to the degree that you have heavy energies, low frequency energies stuck in your system, you are going to have those things come up for healing. So the universe is helping you to heal so that we can move into a higher frequency. It's like a hot air balloon. Okay. You're throwing the ballast, you're throwing those sandbags overboard on your hot air balloon. And the difference is that in our current scenario, we think that those sandbags are necessary for our survival. Or we have an emotional attachment to the sandbag and we don't want to throw it overboard. But if the goal is for the balloon to go higher, we have to jettison all non-essential stuff in the hot air balloon, because that's the only way it's going to happen. And luckily, when we aren't at the level that we know we should be at, then what happens is it becomes very clear what's a sandbag and what is not. Okay. Your mind still might play tricks on you. I mean, if your sandbag is an addiction, you might say, no, but I need this sandbag. If your sandbag is a feeling of that you were a victim and they were bad, and you're probably right, but you still don't need it. The idea of forgiveness feels like repudiating all that is true and good, and you don't want to do it. So the universe has your back. The winds of change will help you heal. It's just about getting centered, feeling what is authentic and what is not. And what is authentic will feel good. And what is not authentic will feel bad. It's easy to figure that out. Okay. Don't think about it too much. But stay with the feeling and not the word. And as you notice that actually, as the universe shows you what you need to heal, instead of being punitive, instead of feeling like karma is punishment, you feel like karma is manifestation and information, right? If I manifest somebody screaming at me on the street out of nowhere, if I manifest 5 different people in the supermarket snapping at me, I can get all pissed off at them. I can say, what's the world coming to and whatever. Or I can say, okay, the mirror is showing me anger. I'm walking around feeling like I don't even have any anger right now. But the universe is conspiring through all these people to show me there's anger in the air. What can I do? I can feel my anger. I can feel how I react to their anger. And I can visualize that anger or that reaction, maybe a victim reaction to the anger. I can visualize that as the clog. And then I can allow the universe to let that go. In the end, we have to be willing to let go of anything that is not authentically us. You might have to let go of the religion you grew up in. Not because I said so. Please enjoy your religion. I don't care. But you might come to the awareness that I have to let go of this, or I have to let go of the way I'm working it right now. You might have to let go of a relationship. You might have to let go of an aspect of your personality that is inauthentic and always has been. And you definitely will have to let go of certain heavy emotions that you probably installed out of self-protection. And you probably think that you need these emotions, these reactive patterns. And on a deep level, you feel that these are necessary even for your very survival, but they're not. If you are willing to get to the core of your authentic truth and let go of everything that's not in alignment with it, the universe will help you move really quickly. And so my work with my clients is to try to identify these things that stand in the way and clear them. As we bring awareness to these issues, it can be a grueling process. I mean, I don't have judgment over people's issues. So a lot of times I tend to be like the kid in the Emperor's New Clothes story. I'm just like, oh, what's that anger there? You know, and somebody who's trying to kind of hide the fact that they are this boiling cauldron of anger on the inside, you know, they feel a little put on the spot if you're just like, hey, what's that? You know, like they think, hey, I that's not supposed to be showing, you know. But I don't care. I understand we all have issues. And when you start realizing everybody's divine and on earth, everybody has a bunch of fucked up issues, that's when the real love and forgiveness comes in. That's when the joy of life can be there, even when you're not fully self-actualized or whatever, right? The process is amazing. So every time a really negative issue comes up in this age of intensity, every time, especially when it feels so intense, like you don't feel like you can take it. Number one, realize that you are at a moment of potential quantum leap. You have an unprecedented opportunity right now to heal something huge. So imagine that you're putting your anger on, you know, whatever that altar where they would sacrifice animals, right? You know, you're putting your anger on the altar as a sacrifice to the gods, right? To the God within, to your own divinity. You're sacrificing your anger because you don't need it. Now, there is anger that you need, right? There's anger that is built into being a human, and there's fear, and there's whatever. And so there is an authentic level of even these so-called negative emotions. Absolutely, and it's fine. But most of those issues, as we experience them, are just reactive patterns. And so as you allow for yourself to let go of the issue, you allow the universe to have your back, then you're doing exactly what you need to do to go to the higher frequency and the higher frequency reality that Dolores Cannon called the new earth. I don't want to go into all the ideas about the new earth here, and I'm about to end this anyway. But we're moving into a new reality. It's good news. Right now, it feels hard. It feels crazy. It's probably going to get more that way as we approach this new reality. If you need help doing these things that I'm talking about, implementing them into your life, reach out to me, andysway@yahoo.com. My website's andysway.com. It's all here on this YouTube channel. But I can walk you through the process. And once you go through it a few times, you're going to start doing it on your own more and more and more effectively. And you're going to see that as you clear one thing, the next thing's going to come up. But you're also going to see that as you clear these issues, you are going to be more clear. Your manifestation is going to come into a better alignment. And you're slowly moving towards that reality that Dolores Cannon called the new earth. Anyway, thanks so much for watching today. If you want to get in touch with me, andysway@yahoo.com. And I'd love to talk to you. And anyway, if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments. And I will be checking comments going forward to respond to. And have a great day. Thank you.